O'Brien.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. We're going to be joined today by Basil, Chapman, and Tim Ord, so make sure you stick it through the episode. It is going to be good. Obviously SPY up 0.63%, Composite up 1.19, trading at 90,623. Some strong movement right there. Dow Jones Industrial up 0.33% at 44,567, and the Russell Futures up about 1.18. But I really kind of want to talk about right now is the earnings, because we're going to have the guests on today, and I want to make sure I don't cut into their time. Of course, the Palantir play did phenomenally yesterday. I mean, how about that, right? So trading up 23% right now. Basically, enterprise growth accelerated, I think about 60%, right? And that's what we had always been kind of looking at with Palantir. Of course, them supporting the Maven system was huge, and that gives a really nice foundation. But in reality, spreading into enterprise is really where a lot of the money is. It seems like enterprise has been doing so. You trade to a high there of 106.91, trading right now at 103.10, up 23.12%. Quite resilient, especially considering the valuation. Now you're trading at the PE of 515. And we were trading about roughly 174 billion market cap, and now we're at 224. Of course, we were in Palantir, which did phenomenally, up 45%. Definitely, hard to stick in some of these that long, these leverage ETFs. As far as other earnings today, I'm thinking, of course, we have Google coming out. You have AMD. I'm not really, Spotify did very well. I'm not very convinced on either of these right now. AMD, I think, their whole argument is that they're better for inference, but I don't know if that's necessarily true. And Jensen Huang has been speaking about inference so much recently, and it would be very surprising to me if NVIDIA had not tried to work something out with that already. So we'll see what happens with AMD, but I'm not really sold on it. And then Google as well. I think the fear that I have with Google is that it's going to suffer the same fate that Microsoft did, right? Where you're going to have these contracting kind of, just basically cloud growth. I mean, if you look at Microsoft in the wake of massive CapEx, right? Okay, so you look at Microsoft, you get some big movement right here, right, on earnings. And not do very well. Meta beat them. I think the same is going to be I think it's going to be the same for Google, essentially, right? I think you're going to have decreased cloud growth. I think people are going to be freaking out. I think the only catalyst that exists for Google right now, like the only delta that exists, is with the agentic AI, right? Now, of course, that will increase cloud usage, right, over some period of time, but I think we're very nascent still with agentic AI. One of the major kind of benefits that Google enjoys is that they use TPUs, and these are built by them, and only they use them, right? And if you remember what we were talking about with DeepSeek, one of the things that was really phenomenal about it is that it used floating point 8, okay, and you can really, you get a lot more from your energy input, even if it weren't as accurate. Agentic AIs do not need to be super accurate. They do not need to do a bunch of math. They don't need to model out a bunch of things. They just need to kind of know what you're asking it and then do it, right? And I have a friend who owns a business in St. Petersburg, and I was speaking with him about all of this the other day, and they're using, I forget what ChatGPT's agentic AI is called, but they were having it basically look at orders and put it into a spreadsheet. It's amazing what this thing can do, or what agentic AI can do in general. So, we're kind of looking at forward guidance for Google. I am pretty much neutral on this right now. If they have contracting cloud growth, increasing CapEx, and it's not really clear when agentic AI starts making them a decent amount of money, I think you can have a bad kind of reaction to this report. Now, I think 2025 for Google in general, and Microsoft in general, and Amazon is going to be great. I really do think it'll be nice for them. But just right now, this quarter, I'm a little bit hesitant to try to take any position. And AMD, I think time and time again, has just kind of proven itself to not be the right decision. And I don't think that just because we're entering into inference and AMD's leadership says they're better than NVIDIA in inference, which again, I probably disagree with, I stay away from that right now. So, Anyways, let's move on a little bit as well. We have the DXY trading at 107.95. You have crude oil off about 0.82% at 72.56. Gold contracts still relatively strong at 0.57% at 2,873. Copper up about 1.37%, trading at $4.36. And you get some of the bonds moving to the upside as well. Something interesting that I'm looking at with bonds and gold to some extent is going to be that sovereign wealth fund that Trump is putting together. If you look at some of the compositions of sovereign wealth funds, Saudi Arabia is relatively diversified. Same with the Norwegians, of course. The Norwegians and the Saudis carry a lot of treasury bills in the US. And so, in some strange way, I think that Trump is going to achieve quantitative easing through developing this sovereign wealth fund and buying a ton of bonds. I don't know where that money is going to come from, if they're going to try to leverage some stuff on the balance sheet, such as land or maybe just cash that exists. I'm not really clear on that, and I don't think anyone necessarily is right now. But I mean, if that's the case, I mean, you buy bonds, right? I mean, these would skyrocket and stuff. So it's something kind of interesting to keep in mind. I think as more discussion comes out from the executive branch on what investments in that fund would look like, it'll become, of course, more clear. Of course, he said he was going to add TikTok to it. I'm not really sure what that means, how you would buy TikTok and put it in the sovereign wealth fund. Unless he's talking about nationalizing TikTok, which would certainly be interesting. And of course, Bitcoin. That's a big conversation as well. You have some of the guys standing around him while he was signing this who are very pro Bitcoin. You have a lot of crypto guys right now arguing for banks to be able to use crypto and offer those kind of services. So we're living in a very strange time right now, certainly economically speaking, and in the market as well. I think right now taking a position either way on everything I just kind of listed is a little bit premature. And I think as these earnings come out with Google, certainly with AMD forward guidance wise, and then what Trump wants to do with the sovereign wealth fund will become a little bit more clear. But stay right there, folks. We'll be right back with Basil Chapman right after this break.